Hello, Christopher. How you doing tonight?
Really fantastic. How are things there in California, David?
Things are moving along. I'm happy we made it through that Venus T-square, so the pressure's relieving, and I'm ready for some excitement. I think excitement is brewing this weekend.
Oh, it absolutely is. And part of it is going to be interesting because on Friday, as we advance here right around the noon hour, um, Central Standard Time, the moon will be going 0 degrees Virgo, and everybody is going to feel that compulsion to clean out their closets and dust behind the bed frame and stuff like that. A Virgo moon for the weekend is going to make people dutiful, I think.
It is, we're walking into the weekend with a lot to process. The sun and Jupiter getting very close in Gemini. So there's an abundant energy in the mind. And then you're adding emotions, which are really nitpicky and wanting every little detail of every little situation. And, Mars is now moving in a really strong position in Gemini. So lots of mental energy. And this moon in Virgo is going to oppose Neptune, which has now gone retrograde. So there's a lot to process emotionally and how you feel. I think that it's time to really pay attention to a lot of the spiritual energy as well.
Oh, it absolutely is going to be aimed in that direction all weekend. And it's going to be interesting to see what religious or spiritual institutions are doing over this coming weekend. Because, if somebody is thinking about, gee, should I go on a retreat? Should I go do penance and spend some time talking to that power that is greater than me? This is going to be a good weekend to go on a spiritual journey, to take time to acknowledge the presence and activity of God in your life.
Yeah, because this moon really wants to highlight what all that godly energy is. Neptune retrograde now has really brought people to a new point in their spiritual energy, a real deep reflection on how far you've come in opening your soul and what that is starting to deliver to you, which in some cases it's going to deliver you going on a new adventure with some new spiritual friends and watching your spirituality take you off in the right direction. For others, I think this is kind of like, wow, the truth is out. Your spirituality is not that high vibrational, so you're kind of faced with the lower vibrations.
Yeah, and it's time for you to maybe address that issue, because really the idea with all of the dialogue that you and I have is if people look at the possibility of, what if I recognize the presence and the activity of God within me? How many of my dysfunctional traits, how much of my inability to cope with life on a day-to-day basis would be transformed if I just actually recognize that God is participating in my life. And I think Neptune is really going to try to give us that vision, because it has a beautiful angle with Saturn going on in Scorpio. And Saturn is the teacher. So the teacher is saying, look within, and you'll find something that will astonish you and transform you.
And karma, because these are retrograde planets. And so it is this receding of all the energy coming towards us now inward. And I think that the universe is pounding us with a lot of your truth, the exposing of your truth. And it goes along with your karma. I think Neptune is a very karmic planet with your past, what you've been doing in the past, what your soul's been doing, how truthfully connected you are. So really intense karma. And you see it always with Pisces in the two areas. It is two fish. It is the up and the down. I mean, you can really see where there are those that are ascending their higher soul, and then those that are drowning in their sorrows and in their karma. And this is where we have to wake up now. It's time to wake up to the truth. It's time to wake up to your energies. And this moon in Virgo gives you the ability to kind of scour your reality and start to really feel out every little part of it, of what is not in alignment with this spiritual energy.
Exactly. And one of your favorite subjects is always the nodes. You tend to
Yes.
really like to track what's going on with the nodes. And, this weekend we have Chiron doing that magical dance in Pisces and finishing up its aspect to that south node in Scorpio, and a tight or sextile to the north node in Taurus. So again, a lot of karmic lessons coming through, and a lot of revelations about what it is that you have done at some point in the past that is creating the turmoil or the ecstasy that you're currently having positioned on your doorstep.
Yeah, and coming up to this week, Mercury was trining that North Node in Scorpio. So it was interesting that the events that led up to this week kind of came into this understanding in like an arrow point of view of what your truth is. Now with Chiron here, there's the opportunity to heal, whether it's positive or negative. I think that it's just all it's trying to do is bring the Neosporin to the position. I think that no matter what that is, whether you need it or not, you know, there is still some amazing energy that's healing where, you know, it can feel like, wow, it's finally healed. You know, there's nothing better than like when you stub your toe and it's finally healed and you can run again. And there's a great feeling that comes with that, a feeling of stride, a feeling of confidence, a feeling of trust in your foot, where that's important in our lives right now to have this new upswing, especially as Mars and Uranus are coming into a sextile. This really does bring the radical change and the excitement that we're looking for. And if you're at a position this weekend where you're frustrated or you're bogged down, guess what? It can be frustrating, and it's because you might not have been doing your high spiritual work. And so this weekend brings those both two paradigms. I think there are those that are going to be frustrated as hell as the new events are unfoiling and the excitement's in the air, and everybody's living in their karma. And I think that if you're seeing people unhappy and you're seeing that, there is a lot of karma to work out. There's a lot.
Yeah, it's like that old joke that was a bumper sticker, I think, back 25 years ago, to the effect of my karma just ran over your dogma. And I think that's really what we're arriving at here. It's where our karma is able to affect the world that we are positioned within. And again, that idea of Chiron, the definition being the wounded healer, the implication here is that, yeah, you're healing yourself, but how are you doing it? You're doing it by reaching out and extending healing to those around you. So this is, again, kind of a highlight that takes us into this weekend with the idea of being proactive, getting in touch with your spiritual identity, and then passing the healing along to the people around you, you know, giving them a little bit of grace.
Yeah, and there's so much, again, it does come to the karma. I mean, the planets are almost all retrograde now. And this is just all of kind of receiving back into what you've put out there. We started the beginning of this year with all the planets direct. So from the events of January and February and March and April, which had these huge, powerful conjunctions between all the different signs and all the planets, I mean, you can go back in our stuff and go look at those times. Those were the building blocks to what you're receiving from it now. And that's I think the hard aspect of this is like, if you're really frustrated, if you're not where you want to be, there was a lot of work that took place. And so this is a lesson to heal from that and to go put some new karma out there and to start adjusting for that and to start cleaning up the mess that you've been through. I think there's a lot of cleanup on aisle 5, you know, because Saturn and Neptune are working their asses off to make your dreams come true.
Exactly. And if you work with them, you will see the arrival of those magical things in your life that you've been desiring. And, you know, it's interesting, as we're moving toward Monday, then we get a little relief from the intensity of that Virgo moon. It moves into Libra on Monday, which is always nice, much more social, much lighter energy. And we have this association, as how I will frame it, of the sun conjuncting Jupiter as the moon is going to be advancing, so that as Sun and Jupiter conjunct, the moon will be in trine to that. So a lot of communication being shared, a lot of opening of the heart, and of understanding the lessons that you have been experiencing over the last few months, your last few years.
Yeah, this Monday is very powerful because the kite that's been in the chart is kind of ending, but at the same time, there is like all this there's more energy ping-ponging around than we've had for a long time. And the chart is balanced. So when you look at a chart like this is a very balanced energy. We've got planets around the whole wheel. So the universe is kind of evened out finally. A lot of events for people to kind of like have the even keel, which I think that is the whole Libra lesson, is to find your even keel. And we have the sun and Jupiter this week with an even keel, with a balanced chart. How beautiful. There are some radical, amazing new tickets that we are taking off to in our new adventures. I think that this is the new adventure of the next year. This is where we're starting to see where it's going to take us all. And it's exciting. And that moon in Libra, of course, is going to make the square to Pluto, which means you can have no fear. And I think that you're going to have to, be willing to make some radical new decisions in the self that you're going to be. And if you're able to make the new call, if you're able to have the courage, if you're not afraid, then this is really exciting. But if you're afraid of this new journey, then you're gonna be stuck in some disharmony. It's gonna feel like you're stuck on the fence, and I think that people need to pick what side of the fence they're gonna go on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the other interesting thing that's going to be happening over the weekend, and then we'll see the results on Monday, Tuesday, is we have Mercury transiting over Venus in Capricorn. And even though it's not in direct opposition to Pluto on the other side, we do have that synergy going on between Pluto and Capricorn and Venus Mercury conjunct in Cancer during the weekend. And that is going to really, I think, give people a clear sense of it's all right to disengage, to disconnect, to cut the cords, and to advance into new relationships, new friendships, new opportunities to create intimacy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and this is a funny event because, Venus catches up, and Mercury and Venus by the end of this week, they sit dead conjunct as Mercury is getting ready to do its retrograde. So, but there is this like very slow moment of finally the relationship energy kind of coming together, finally an understanding of the minds, finally an understanding of the emotions, all while the sun and Jupiter are conjunct. So I think more of the tickets that we're picking in our life are going to be having seat combinations with it. Like you're going to like get your ticket to your new life and to the new story, and you're going to be sitting on aisle A, seat B with the person that you're supposed to be with. And I think that you're excited about this. I think that this could really bring some exciting new relationships, some exciting business partnerships. If we want to go into business, this is an excellent week for business. I'll be honest, I'm launching a website this week. Because it's just like, this is the balance chart. This is Mars and Uranus sextiling the whole time, the sun and Jupiter, and we have Venus and Mercury. This is hallelujah, Saturn and Neptune trine. I mean, you want to talk about some dreams to come true this week? They're right now. They're this week. They're this week.
Yeah, and this will be a pivotal point, I think, for a lot of people who have been feeling abandoned, because we arrive at a place where we encounter failure, we set ourselves up for failure, and then we end up feeling like nobody is there for us, nobody supports us as we're moving forward through the universe. I think that this activity of the sun crossing over Jupiter and this marriage of Venus and Mercury is going to be very redemptive. I think a lot of people are going to feel like, oh, the whole world doesn't hate me. And, this is going to open new doors for healing, because, again, we have that interesting square that will be happening at the same time with Mars and Chiron. So, again, you're getting that wounded healer, that Martian activity from Gemini to Pisces, and then you've got the warm, fuzzy feelings of that union in Cancer. So very, very interesting week.
Very interesting. Good thing you pointed out that Mars square Chiron. I mean, talk about making the wrong moves this week as the positivity's there to not heal yourself either. This can also be, I know I'll be honest, dreams can really come true, but also you could be making the like over optimistic wrong move if you're not really coming from your soul. Like, please come from your soul. You'll be fine. Please allow your wounds to be healed. If you're trying to overcompensate to heal yourself, or like you have this wounded ego that needs to be healed or something, like you need to go out there and go, this is the guy who's going to go spend $1 million on a strip club or something to like heal his ego when he doesn't need to. This is the person that's going to go buy a Russian bride, to make him feel better about himself. Like, so don't go down that road.
Yeah, really.
It really is that, though.
Yeah, it does have that intensity to it because,
Yeah.
again, Mars is very juicy. Mars has got a lot of energy that it exudes into the universe, and it can turn up in an aggressive fashion or it can turn up in a motivational fashion, and it is up to the individual as to how you channel that energy. And once again, I'll say to all of the people who are checking in for the video, you really need to have a chart so you can look at where these activities are occurring in your own personal chart, and that'll give you even more capacity to deal with the moment and to flow with these energies as they accelerate and move forward in this very dynamic time.
You're so right about the Martian energy when it's combined with Uranus, which we saw. Do you remember when Mars and Uranus and there was all that Aries energy? We had the bombings happened, in Boston, and that was when Mars was in Aries. I mean, now we're having Mars and Uranus come together in a weird way again, but in more of a positive way. But again, you know what? People are going to make some really left field things happen this week, like me, I'm unveiling a website that nobody knew I was doing, and it's going to come from left field, and they're going to be like, whoa. But like, that's the kind of energy. It's exciting, it's different, it's mixing things up and bringing that edge. And I think that with relationships, this is the edge people were looking for a little bit, like this wild little kind of crazy edge, the ability to make sure that you really start to go into this new chapter of your life. Because to me, Sun and Jupiter is a new chapter. It is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory getting the golden ticket. It is a big deal. It is like, there is only one golden ticket and you find it and you're like, oh, wow, I get to go.
Yes, and it's much better than Disneyland.
It is.
It's interesting that Uranus, of all the planets, is the only one that has an east-west axis. All the other planets are a north-south axis. And really, if you're trying to understand the presence and activity of Uranus in your chart, you start by looking at that. It wants to go in its own way. It's not going to cave in and shift its axis to dance with all the other planets on the same wavelength. And then if you really want to get a bigger vision, imagine David Bowie. David Bowie was a Capricorn, but he exemplifies Uranian energy. I mean, he is so alternate and so counterculture in so many ways. And he had created, with almost every album, a whole diversion of new thinking. And so that's very, very Uranian. One blue eye, one brown eye. I mean, it is very much a creature unto itself.
And Uranus is the only outer planet that is direct still. So, and honestly, I mean, Saturn is retrograde, and Uranus is kind of the big boy right now out there in space that's moving forward. So that means there's lots of really weird things happening in people's lives right now, and it offers this wild card energy of, wow, this is where somebody gets all their dreams to come true and something. This is where somebody ends up in really bad, crazy situations. And I think that's where the karma's playing out, is you're either accelerating or you're decelerating, or on the same time that you're finally becoming this new self that you wanted to be, or you're having to work even harder to be the true self that you want to be. So it's like Uranus works you out. I always say, and I'm just going to say it, Uranus is where you get kicked in the balls, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
like you got to make sure you block it the next time somebody tries to kick it. Or I say for the ladies, the ovaries. But you know, this is where the excitement in a positive way can be that this is like the magical Kurt Gibson home run in the 88 World Series with the Dodgers. Like this is like just like somebody just out of left field, amazing, beautiful, crazy, wild, great energy. Like, wow. It's exciting. It's a great time to be alive right now. And you know, I want to leave with this. I know I've been talking a little bit here, but we talked about this, Chris, recently, that this is exposing the truth in everybody. Saturn's here to expose the truth. And you know what? In relationships, you're going to see through everybody. There is no fake energy allowed on the planet right now.
Yeah, and I think that that's really going to impact this log jam that we've had as far as national identity. I think the politicians, the religious leaders, the pop culture leaders, all of these people are going to reveal themselves either consciously or unconsciously. So yeah, transparency is definitely a big theme that we are dealing with right now, and it's going to become more and more transparent. So if you have dirty undies on, you might want to address that before you go out in public.
You got to go buy a bottle of bleach. But
there you go.
The thing is the phone records with the NSA and all that stuff came out recently. I mean, this is that kind of crazy energy. I think that there's more of this stuff going to come out the longer that we see. I mean, get used to this. This is just going to keep coming. We're only at the beginning degrees of Scorpio. So, I mean, look at what Scorpio can do at the beginning round. But the beginning round always exposes like the very root stuff. And so in your relationships this week, your emotions can see clearly. If you feel it's off, it's off. If you feel it's on, and go with that. You're very clear emotionally right now. You know, your mind and Venus, all this connection of the truth, Sun and Jupiter give you the big thing. And at the end of the day, the Sun and Jupiter and Gemini's full lesson is for you to see bigger, for you to leave the facts behind, and for you to blow your mind bigger than you've ever blown before, because it's not going to be blown like this for another 12 years.
Right, exactly. And, you know, I think that the other thing that everybody really has to stop and ponder is what I keep preaching over and over again, being aware of where you are and what your surroundings are. Because in addition to all the transparency that we're going to see on an upward curve, there is culpability. If you're at the wrong place at the wrong time and you look around and realize that and fail to take action, then, you know, it could be one of those blustery experiences that you look back to with regret. So it is a very edgy kind of energy, but at the same time, it is so positive and supportive if you are working with it that you can transform your life.
It is. And I think you're right about the environment. That's what Gemini is, your close environment. And we're learning how to be in the right environment. You know, the littlest thing could turn it all off, like you say. So if you're living at a house, but you have that roommate that sells drugs up in the house, well, guess what? You're in that environment. Even though in your room it seems fine, even though, you know, if you're in that energy, guess what? That energy is part of you, you know? And it's the it's the brothers, it's the sisters, you know, it's the relationships that you have between your siblings, your cousins, you know, these are very close people to you. And it's about making sure that you're rubbing right with them and you're rubbing right with your environment. Because if you're rubbing just even a little bit off, you're going to have a really big clash with that brother or that sister. That's how brothers and sisters work. It's got to be just right. You got to have just enough space, but you also got to make sure that you come on a very close energy. So your environment, you got to be close with, but you got to rub it right. If you're rubbing wrong,
yeah, you're going to be screwed. Anyway, well, we're starting out Friday, Saturday with a real nice card. Look at this. This is the 9 of Cups. And this is fulfillment, satisfaction. This guy feels like, wow, I finally got everything that I was looking for in life. And, you know, that's that Virgo energy that we were talking about that's going to be with us all weekend. You can really accomplish a huge amount if you set yourself in that direction. Uh, as we move into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have the Ace of Swords. And of course,
Wow.
Swords is all about air sign, Moon in Libra, you know, Sun in Gemini, very airy, but also a time of discernment. So this is a good time to prune back the blackberry patch, get rid of the excess, do a little editing of what you want to allow in your life. And then as we move toward the end of the week, the other wish fulfillment card, the Ten of Cups. And this is the card of enrichment and fulfillment and accomplishment, not only for you, but for your family, for your friends, for your lover. You know, this is a card of a shared joyous experience. So it looks like a very rewarding week if you're really paying attention and putting the necessary effort into everything.
You just called it perfect. That Ace of Swords is exactly what Sun and Jupiter conjunct in Gemini is, right? It is a new mind. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it is a new, powerful, you really taking control of your mind now. The other thing, that last card you pulled is so exactly the events of this week of like the fulfillment of it all. And it's offered for everybody. Everybody gets the golden ticket, not just one person, you know. That Santa Claus gives gifts to everybody, you know, because Jupiter's a lot like Santa Claus. So it's like everybody gets the gifts, but you know, they all got to be willing for it. And I think it comes down to the lists, you know, because it's very specific in Gemini. Gemini remembers all those little facts. It remembers that you cut that lady off, or you did, you know, Gemini doesn't forget. So it's like this Santa Claus has the bad list and the nice list, and every little detail is on that thing. Kind
And
of,
you
yeah.
do, yeah, and you do have the power to get from the bad list to the good list simply by extending a little grace to those around you. You know, if you
And being
want
in
the
the right
good things to
environment, yeah.
right, if you want the good things to show up in your life, you have to be wanting those good things to show up for other people too.
I think the only thing that's really challenging this week is the emotions, because the emotions go from Libra and then into Scorpio and then into Sagittarius and getting ready for the full moon that happens, you know, near the end of this fulfillment. Then, of course, that's actually perfect with the peak of the weekend that comes with that full moon. But the moon in Libra is going to make new squares. It's almost going to be a cardinal cross as it squares, you know, it squares all the Cancer, Capricorn, and then it opposes the Aries. So this is that cardinal cross energy. And then it's going to come into Scorpio and make all these trines, and it's going to, our emotions are going to kind of go through a lot through this whole process. They're going to be being really tested and also really built stronger. So really know that your emotions are going to be up and down through this, but that they're going to really finish off in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be one of those weeks where you really are able to evaluate how much good effort you've been putting into transforming and directing the activities and the experiences in your life.
Yes, it is. Well, another wonderful show, Christopher. So much fun.
Oh, absolutely. And hopefully before the end of the year, we'll be doing them perhaps side by side on the beach or something. So, if,
Soon, soon.
yes. So if you guys want to see David and I expanding on this theme here, be supportive and share these sessions that we have with friends of yours so we can build a little bit of attention here on the internet.
Yeah, it'd be great. We appreciate all the comments, and you know, it's been growing, and this is our favorite show. We love to do it, and we hope that it's your favorite show too. So we appreciate the comments. We appreciate you sharing it, and we really do pay attention to every single comment and every single share. We do this for you guys. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you, David. It was a wonderful discussion this evening. And
Yeah.
I expect you will have amazing and exciting things to share with us with that new website by the time next weekend comes around.
I will. I am about to launch my alter ego Leo personality. So It's exciting. Um, it's pretty cool. So I'm excited for all of us. I'm excited for us all, you know. Let's get ready for the new journey. I think I'll just end it with this. The Sun and Jupiter were conjunct last year at this time in Taurus. So it actually happened over a year ago, and we're ending that road. So look in your chart of where last year the Sun and Jupiter conjuncted, because you're finishing that story. And this new story is about to begin, and this one's exciting, and this one's going to last for a year, whereas Taurus is kind of slow. I think that we're finishing a journey that was slower and, you know, more building. I think that the excitement is about to build, and this is going to be a long year of this journey being exciting and a lot of things happening.
Very bubbly and sparkling.
Yep.
Great.
Wonderful.
Well, have a fabulous week, David, and I'll talk to you in 7 days.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Great.